Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Well, I do believe we are on the precipice of a nuclear trade war with China. Things are really heating up between the two countries. As you know, Trump slapped on more tariffs and China retaliated with similar tariffs, and then Trump went back with more, something that I believe needed to happen for a very long time, because quite frankly, America has been raped by China repeatedly with the massive amounts that they've been grilling us on. Over 200, and I want to get this number for you correctly, but it's over 260% tariff on our dairy, and that's how bad China has been messing with us. So what I want to do in this broadcast is get into some of the stuff that's going on with the trade war, but I've brought on an expert to do that. So Colin, are you with me over there?
Yeah, absolutely, Lisa, and it's been a long time coming. I don't think there's been a president that has discussed tariffs in any serious tone since Ronald Reagan, and I know that Trump is trying to kind of model himself after President Reagan. So it is about time, as you said, it's about time that somebody looks at this issue and tries to get us on a more even playing field, because when we're selling goods there, selling goods here, we have a huge disadvantage, and it's a windfall for those countries. But for us, we've been in the negative for a long time. The amount of goods that we're selling in China is minuscule compared to what we're receiving here. So I think it's something that had to be done. I think there's going to be a little bit of initial kind of heartache in terms of the economy. Anytime you have a major shakeup like this, the stock market has been wobbling for days, and so I think you're in the initial probably first 6 to 12 months, it'll be negative for the stock market. But obviously, we need to be able to protect our goods and our trading partners, and we need to be able to protect ourselves. And I think that's what Trump's really been focusing on.
And that's my hope. And for those of you who aren't aware of who Colin is, he is one of the head honchos over there at NobleGold Investments. And I work with him directly to get a lot of my intel on what's happening economically, which is why I wanted to bring him on, because in all honesty, if we're getting into a trade war, that's going to affect our agriculture. It's going to affect our food. It's going to affect our production. And we could be looking at some kind of, economic downfall, economic crisis, which is why, again, I tell everybody, make sure you invest in gold, silver, precious metals. As you can see, I do. I've shown these many times on my channel. I have the silver dollar here, but so much is happening. And if you don't have your 401ks converted to a Roth IRA, I encourage you to do that also, because with the instabilities that we're seeing with China, that could hit your wallet. Now, with that, Colin, I want to share these and then go back to you and get your input on that. But if you check out this report, this is on the national interest, put out in March, actually, of this year. But it asked the question, is America preparing for nuclear war with China? Here's another one from express.co.uk, put out July 6th. And its headline, China military reform to win a war and overtake the U.S., revealing in a leaked memo. Now, I want to read you a piece from that. It says, China's military reforms have been revealed by leaked internal documents, which indicate that Beijing intends to expand its military might offshore so that the country will be allowed to manage a crisis, contain a conflict, win a war, and overtake the U.S. in military strength. Now, my question to you, Colin, is could we be looking at, now we know we're obviously in a trade war, but do you think tensions are rising for war with China considering those articles?
I think the thing that's interesting is that when you see a memo from China that was leaked from the military, you have to think that it was done intentionally. I mean, it's highly unlikely that would just get released out to the public, especially because it basically hits 4 bullet points as a direct threat to the United States. Obviously, they're preparing for some kind of war against us. Every military is protecting themselves. That's the job of a military. But when they're starting to look at encroaching and growing as a country and preparing for war, that's a little bit different. And that's kind of sending a warning shot off the bow, so to speak. And I think what they're doing is they're trying to intimidate us with this trade war and trying to see if we'll back down. And I think that what we know from President Trump is that he doesn't back down from these types of things. So I think we're going to see some kind of conflict with China. I don't know if it'll be a direct conflict. I think that they're also upset with what's going on in North Korea. I don't think they're happy that we've gone in North Korea and tried to negotiate with them. I think they like North Korea as being rogue, and they're kind of in negotiations with them, and they have talks with them. So I think overall China is just really unhappy with what's happening with Trump, and they're trying to let us know that they're going to fire back. Now the kind of silver bullet, unfortunately, that they have over us is that they hold the majority of our treasury bonds. And so if they decided to dump our treasury bonds and our debt on the market, that would completely destroy our economy. There's no question that there's no analyst out there that wouldn't agree with that. So even though we can go back and forth, and obviously, we buy most of their goods, and so we're a partner in that way, they unfortunately hold that one trump card. They dump our debt on the market. Nobody wants that debt. There's too much debt out there, and that would affect our stock market. Our dollar would absolutely crash. So that's the one downside to this kind of trade war for a regular investor, is that you have to be prepared for, number one, there's going to be inflation. Number two, the likelihood of the stock market crashing is much higher, and so you have to be prepared for those things. And that's Reagan, even though he went after the trade war, he went after tariffs in the 80s, he had the exact same situation. We had high unemployment, high inflation. And so, these are kind of the backlash situations that you're going to have when you go after a kind of trade war with a major trading partner. I
agree 100%. You said that perfectly, but it leaves that lingering question. And I have to ask, okay, we have war on the table. We also have that they could cash out all their debt. I guess you could say if they just went and cashed out all their debt, obviously America would probably end up going to war with them, because that's going to cause such devastation on our economy. But that is their war card, or that could be their war card, which is maybe why, we've got to be very careful, because we're treading on shaky ground, and people need to be ready, because we don't know which way. This is the first president that's actually said things are not fair, and they're not. 260% tariff on dairy, and we've got 0 in Canada. Give me a break. That's not fair. But I think some president has to stand up at some point, make it even. Whatever the repercussions on that is, we'll see in the future. But again, that's why I love bringing you on, because we need something solid. Because if we go to war like that, or if they dump their debt, imagine what that will do to the dollar, and what would that do to gold?
Yeah, no, gold would obviously react positively. And that's why, on our website, we have a list of the top 10 countries that own gold. And, you look at U.S. being number one, but the two major countries that have been moving up steadily on the list have been China and Russia. They've been continuing to buy tremendous amounts of gold. Russia's number 5 and China's number 6. So they're acquiring gold. They're not directly but indirectly backing their currency with gold. And it's interesting, when you see countries buying gold right now, you have to ask yourself, why would they buy it? The price of gold has pulled back to a very low point. Why are they putting themselves in that position? Why are they buying these assets? They're not assets like real estate that provides a dividend. You're typically not going to see 40, 50% returns like you can in other investments. The reason they're buying is they want to make their government strong. They want to have assets that don't have debt. If you look at countries of the world today, because all of our countries are built on debt, there's very few assets that countries hold that don't have debt. You have gold, and you basically, real estate if the real estate doesn't have any debt. So these are, assets that are going to move up over time. They're going to continue to grow as we see inflation and the dollar shrink. And so these countries are preparing themselves, and that's why a lot of investors today are saying, hey, you know what? Maybe I got to get a little bit of money out of equities. I got to get out of mutual funds. I got to diversify some of my money, because these countries are doing it, and they have every available investment option out there. They're getting out of stocks and bonds. They're moving out of debt. They're moving into these stability assets, and I think they're preparing themselves for the eventual collapse.
Wow, good points there. And in the end, I encourage everyone, be ready. Make sure you have something else going on other than the dollar. But with that, Colin, will you share any specials you have, information, and the Trump coin?
Well, do we want to talk about the Trump coin, or are we going to...
Well, I will say real quick, in the future, I think in like maybe a week, I'm hoping, they're going to have a Trump coin, like a coin that represents President Trump. And I can't wait to buy it for all my family when you have it during Christmas time. I'm so stoked.
Yeah, we're excited about it. We're not ready to release it. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but it's going to be a 1 ounce silver coin. We're also going to release a gold coin later on. There are coins out there that are doing this, but 99% of them aren't real silver and aren't real gold. They're silver plated and gold plated. So obviously, we're a company that believes in precious metal. We're not going to sell you a coin that doesn't have any of that precious metal in it. So we're going to have this Trump coin, silver coin available. It's IRA approved, so someone can put their in their IRA or just get it shipped to their doorstep. And it's, for everybody, it's, at a price point where everybody can afford this coin. And so I think it's going to be pretty exciting, especially for everything that's going on. I think people are excited. The election's going to be coming up in a year and a half. And so, yeah, just we don't have everything up and running yet, but the website will be www.trumpcoin2020.com. And so it'll be there, but also, when you hear Lisa will have the coin and she can show it to you also. So we're really excited about it.
Awesome. And I'll leave a link in the future when we have that. And for now, go to NobleGoldInvestments.com. Just let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven. You can also call the number on your screen as well. Well, thanks again for tuning into my channel. This is Lisa Haven, and that was Colin Plume signing out.